Remember, knowledge, it ain't free. You got to pay attention.
It's The Wire TV, your number one source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. As The Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Luis Saez to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard. Oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Pass the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
Enter the world of Kingdom Nutrition, your number one source for healthy horses and fast finishes. Make sure your horses stay strong and healthy with the balanced mineral profile of Healthy Bones. This veterinarian recommended supplement helps foals, weanlings, and yearlings grow and develop. Healthy Bones also helps speed up recovery so your horses can stay in training longer and race more often. Plus, Appetite, the amazing product for your horses. Is your horse a poor eater? Does he dunk his grain in his water bucket? Do you believe he may have ulcers? Are you tired of paying for expensive drugs which offer only temporary relief? Why not try Appetite, the amazing product which is 100% all natural, produced by nature? Appetite contains more than 300 herbs, grasses, and wildflowers to help your horses look and feel amazing. Your cost for a 1-month supply is only $99. It comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied with the results. Call Justin at Kingdom Nutrition today.
Ciao tutti. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. They're over now. It's 2025. We are moving right along. Another exciting year in racing coming up, let's hope. And it's Kentucky Derby season. The 3-year-olds have made their debuts, at least some of them. We had a couple of live preps last Saturday. So, like I say every year, it's never too early to start talking about the Kentucky Derby or the Breeders' Cup. Episode 1, Kentucky Derby Radar 2025. We're here, at least me and all of you. Big Race Jim is a little tied up. Gio's a little tied up. So we're going to ride solo today. The gentleman will be back and the team will be back for the future shows, we hope. But everybody's schedule is a little crazy this time of year. So we wanted to get this first episode out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 horses on my Kentucky Derby radar right now. I know it's early. I've got 2 honorable mentions, and we'll see what happens. You know, it's that time of year where everybody's looking for, you know, a Kentucky Derby horse. We're all looking for the same thing. Everybody likes to follow a horse leading up to the Kentucky Derby. I'm not a big fan of the advanced wages. I think that the odds need to be much, much higher on these horses to justify an advanced bet. Like I tell people, there's always value to be had on Kentucky Derby Day. I don't care whether you like the favorite or a 50 or 60 to 1 shot. If you know how to bet and you know what you're doing, there's value to be had. But we're all looking for that early horse that we could follow, for that excitement, that build up, some bragging rights. And it's always nice when it works out right. But basically, we're all looking for the same thing. We're looking for that hidden gold for the Kentucky Derby, and hopefully we can find some. And it's always interesting to see when we go back and see who wins the Derby, go back and look at these earlier shows and see, were we on the right horse, were we not? I know Gio is very high on Bullard. I wasn't. But there's There's a horse in that barn. I don't know who Big Race Jim is high on yet, but there's a horse out of the Bullard barn that I am very high on. And he's actually on the top of my Kentucky Derby radar list and has been for a couple of weeks, and that's Journalism, a curling colt from Michael McCarthy's barn that Umberto Rispoli rides, that I just think has a world of talent and the kind of talent that I would say undeveloped, just learning the game. He's just a big, strong, developing 3-year-old that looks like he's going to get better as the year progresses and better as the races get longer. He's a curling. He comes off the pace, but not way off the pace. He's been 2 turns. I don't subscribe to that. They got to run a certain bio, or they got to run a certain thoroughgraph number or a certain figure at a certain point in their career in order to be a Derby contender. To me, it's any given Saturday. All of those stats go out the window if you've got the right horse. So Journalism, you know, these 3-year-olds can step up and run much bigger and much faster numbers than they have in the past. And Journalism looks to me like the kind of horse that's just going to get better. I love his action. I love the way he moves. I like everything about him. And I think Michael McCarthy does a great job with his horses. And this is just a horse that, to me has 1.25 miles and Kentucky Derby written all over him. So we'll see what happens and see where he goes. I think he'll probably go in one of the California prep races coming up, but it remains to be seen. There's choices, there's decisions, so stay tuned. Second on my list is a horse that I bet in the Mucho Macho Man. I gave him out on tracking trips in the Mucho Macho Man. I think he was the Sure Bet Coffee play of the day in the Mucho Macho Man. And I truly believe that he is a in the rough. Treaty of Rome. I like him. Uncle Mo, and it would be just interesting. Uncle Mo passed away, and Uncle Mo wins the Derby. You know how those weird nuances and quirks take place in the sport of kings and in all of life, really. But Treaty of Rome, to me, he's had 3 starts now. Sprinting, he ran okay. He stretched out and won, and then was thrown right into the Mucho Macho Man. When he stretched out to a 1-turn mile, he won. He came back in a 1-turn mile in the Mucho Macho Man. Had to chase a horse that was alone on the lead with a 24 and change quarter, 47 and change half, coming off the pace. Very difficult to do, going a mile at Gulfstream. He never gave up. He dug in. He was fighting till the end. One more jump, he wins. He was 11-1. I wish that last Saturday was his day, because we would have made a score. It wasn't. But I said going into that race, and I'll say it now, and I think that race proved it and validated it. He might not win last Saturday, but he will be the one to watch for the Derby coming out of that race. And I think he proved that. And he's in the hands of Chad Brown, one of the guys. And there's a handful of those guys that brings a horse to the Derby as good as anybody ever has in the history of the game. And if you look at, I mean, Sierra Leone was brought to the Derby to run his peak race. Didn't quite win, but ran his peak race. Zandon, same thing, peaked in the Derby. Sierra Leone, who should be 3-year-old of the year without question, that's not even a debate. When you look at him, Chad had him ready to peak in the Derby and peak in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Phenomenal performance. Treaty of Rome couldn't be in better hands. Again, Uncle Mo, love him. I think he's going to get better as the distances get longer. I hope Dylan Davis keeps that mount, because it's nice to see him come to Florida and get a horse like that. But he is definitely on my Kentucky Derby radar, and I suggest you put him on yours. We'll see where he winds up, because Chad likes the bluegrass, but he's also got another horse that's on my Derby radar that a lot of people may have given up on, and that's Chance and McPatrick. Chance and McPatrick was looking like the goods until he stretched out in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Didn't run that well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but Del Mar, to me, is the kind of track that certain horses just don't like it. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. What are you going to do? I don't think he liked the track. I don't think he ran his race that day. I think he'll regroup. I think he will get better. And I think he's going to be a good 3-year-old. I don't think it's time to give up on him. And I'll tell you why. If you watch Chance and McPatrick, I normally don't like off-the-pace sprinters when they stretch out. He was a little different because he shuts down. He doesn't kick and go until Pratt gives him the cue. Now, that's not what happened in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Well, he did try and make a move, but just, Bob's other horse, what was it? Citizen Bull went wire to wire. The race just didn't go his way. I don't think he liked that racetrack. I'm drawing a line through that race. And winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile has not exactly been a recipe for success in winning the Kentucky Derby anyway. What do they got? 2 winners? So Chance and McPatrick shuts down and makes a run when Pratt, or hopefully when whoever rides him, pushes that button. And I think he is going to stretch out. He's McKinsey. I'm high on McKinsey as a sire. I think that horse is going to run, and I think he's going to get better and kind of get back that earlier 2-year-old form that he had when he won those races in Saratoga and I think the Champagne, whatever it was. But serious racehorse. And now to who may be the most serious racehorse of them all, it's hard in horse racing, okay? It's hard to justify a $3+ million price tag, okay? But if anybody can get a horse to do it, it's Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert pushed Amir Zidane, he said so himself, to stretch the limit and go to $3+ million for Barnes, who he named after his longtime assistant, a class act of a guy, Jimmy Barnes. Complete gentleman. If you've ever met Jimmy or know Jimmy, then that's not even a discussion. Guy's a class act. They named this horse after him, okay? Bob pushed Amir to go to $3 million. Now, let's read between the lines a little bit because I like to do that with certain people. Bob is one of them, okay? Bob gets allowed back into Churchill Downs, which in my opinion should have happened long ago, but it happened now. We're here now, okay? And to celebrate his return, he brings Barnes over there, okay? Gives him a race over the track. Welcome back to Churchill Downs. You can run in the Kentucky Derby. He brings Barnes, $3 million colt that he pushed Amir Zaidan to buy, that was named after his longtime assistant and friend, Jimmy Barnes. Now, if you watch that race, Barnes did everything possible within his power. Well, almost. He didn't sit down and he didn't refuse to come out of the gate, but he did just about everything else he could to get himself beat. And you know what? He won anyway, despite himself. So that wasn't his day. Everything went wrong. The horse wins anyway on talent and ability, okay? You don't, if you're Bob Baffert, push one of your owners to go to $3+ million for a horse unless you really feel deep down that he is the goods. So he wins despite himself, in my opinion. Now, he runs back, and he runs back into San Vicente, where I thought he was an absolute lead pipe cinch, lock, whatever you want to call it. I knew whatever quirks he had at Churchill Downs, where we now know he likes the track, Bob would work out of him, okay? He's by Into Mischief. We all know what they can do out of an American Pharaoh mare. We all know American Pharaoh and what he did. Now, in the San Vicente, got the lead, run them off their heels, fast, only 7 furlongs. I like speed horses stretching out, and I especially like speed horses stretching out for Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert can get a 7 furlong horse or a miler or a 1.125 horse to get a 1.25 miles. Authentic. Others. I mean, the list is just so long. And remember this. Remember, when Bob served that suspension, okay, and came back to the classics, the first horse he run was in the Preakness, National Treasure. On his game, ready to go, bang, wins the Preakness, okay? If Barnes is the one, and he's got a stable full of 3-year-olds that might be there, but if Barnes is the one that gets there, watch out, because he's fast. He'll probably be on or near the lead. And what a story that would be. Bob comes back, wins the Derby his first year back with a $3 million horse named for Jimmy Bonds that he brought to Churchill already to celebrate his return to Churchill. Nice story. So those are the four right now: journalism, Treaty of Rome, Chance and McPatrick, and Bonds that lead my, yours truly, humble opinion of my top Kentucky Derby radar horses. Now, are there others? Yeah, I'm going to give an honorable mention to two horses. McAfee, Rick Dutrow. What a story that is. Comes off a 10-year suspension. Whatever. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about McAfee. Comes off a 10-year suspension. Rick wins the Breeders' Cup Classic with White Barrio. Now has McAfee, who, if you watch his last race, he scratched out of the Jerome, but if you watch his last race at Churchill Downs, this horse was on the rail, taking dirt, uncomfortable spot, and I'm big on uncomfortable spots. Not only bad trips, but uncomfortable spots, okay? We talk a lot about that on tracking trips. I don't like a horse that's in an uncomfortable spot. This horse was uncomfortable on the rail and kept digging in and trying anyway. That shows me guts. That shows me fight. That shows me room for improvement. And a mile and a quarter on the first Saturday in May, you want to have some fight. You don't want to have no quit, and you don't want to have no punk. Because if you got either one of those two things, you ain't winning the Kentucky Derby and getting the roses on the first Saturday in May. It just ain't going to happen. You got to be tough, and you got to have some heart. And McAfee showed me that he has it. Now, a horse that's a forgotten horse, and a lot of people have given up on, but I think just hasn't had things go his way. And if that changes, okay, and things start to go his way, I think this horse has more talent than a lot of people are giving him credit for, or some people gave him credit for and forgot, and that's Ferocious. From Connections, Ramiro Restrepo and Gustavo Delgado, who already showed they know what to do with a good horse that and they can win the Kentucky Derby because they did it with Maid. Ferocious is a forgotten horse. Let's see if that's justified or not, because I think things just haven't gone his way, and he's going to regroup and come back and show some of that promise and potential that he was hinting at earlier in his career. So my honorable mentions for my Kentucky Derby Radar episode 1 are McAfee and Ferocious. But the four that lead my list right now are journalism, Treaty of Rome, Chance and McPatrick, and Bonds. And the main thing that I look for is not what they've done. Everybody looks at what have they done? What have they done? What have they done? Okay. I look at what it looks like they're going to do and project what they're going to do going forward, not what they've done in the past. And it's just a different outlook and a different approach. And I look for certain attributes, that toughness, that gameness, a little reading between the lines, because I'm not necessarily big on that all the time, but with certain guys, there are certain tells that are out there. And, in the Kentucky Derby, sometimes that can help. And remember, at the end of the day, if you're right on the first Saturday in May, afterwards, you could always go here. And we know I like those places. So that's episode 1 of Kentucky Derby Radar. Hopefully episode 2 will have Big Race Jim and Gio back in the saddle with me. May even have some guests on the show this year. We'll see what happens. And that's that. So episode 1 in the books. We've got some horses to watch going forward. Thank you to Amwager for sponsoring these shows. Check out amwager.com. Phenomenal platform, phenomenal people, and just pays to check them out. Great rewards, everything good. Shorebed Coffee, thank you to them. They've been with us for a while now. Best coffee out there. Drink great coffee, help horses at the same time? No brainer. Why ain't you doing it? Kingdom Nutrition. If you're looking for supplements for your horses, whether they're race horses, whether they're pleasure horses, whether they're show horses, whatever kind of horses you may have, or you may know somebody who has, check out Kingdom Nutrition. Of course, Spendthrift Farm. They've been with us a long time. They've got all the best stallions, the best with the best. That's why we're with Spendthrift Farm, and that's why they're with us. Last, not least, McMahon Thoroughbreds of Saratoga. They just been doing it quietly for a long time, okay? Central Banker, Solamini, Overachievers is what they got over there. Overachievers. Great operation. They breed winners, and that New York bred program is extremely, extremely lucrative. So that's a wrap. Ciao for now. Tracking trips have passed the wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this clan. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish. Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. We'll outplay them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at PassTheWire.com and check out the Tracking Trips page. Nobody does it better.
You're watching Past the Wire TV.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire, your second set of eyes in horse racing.
Solomini,
Be a
a
member.
top 10 first crop sire in 2023, standing at McMahon of Saratoga. 14 first crop winners, including My Shady Lady, winner of the $500,000 New York Stallion Series 5th Avenue Stakes, Grade 2 winner, Winstock, and Stakes winner, Solo Shot. Solomini, the 7th leading freshman sire and the only top 10 freshman sire with a Grade 1 or Grade 2 winner. He sired a $700,000 two-year-old at the OBS April sale. His juveniles sold for nearly 6 figures on average, more than 12 times the stud fee. Solomini, a controversial DQ from being a Grade 1 winner by 2-time Horse of the Year Curlin, standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
They breed the best, and hope for the best.
Macoma broke well on the outside.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
It is Macoma, the one to catch. Macoma has a 5-length lead in this Grade 1 corner. Outside, Macoma continues the battle on down at the rail. It is Macoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Nobody does it better.